Good evening, and welcome back to the Primeval News Network. I'm your host, Kyle. We interrupt our special report, How to Tell If This Mushroom Won't Kill You, for a breaking news update from the Central Jungle District. In this footage, you can see the standard local real estate, luxury eco-huts with premium palm leaf ventilation. But don't let this peaceful scene fool you, there's tension in the air. We can see one local resident engaged in what appears to be a hairstyling session, while the catering service has already fired up the grill. But hold on, it looks like we've got a meeting in progress. A group of men, clearly upper management, have gathered in the main square. Judging by the serious faces and lack of smiling, they're not discussing the weather. And there it is, the group leader, the guy with the feather in his hair, has given some kind of directive. Yes, he's pointing the way. Looks like it's going to be a short day at the office for some. The operational team is on the move. Note the footwear. Standard Barefoot 5 all-terrain mud walkers with seed-based anklets. Very stylish. Our field correspondent, Grog, reports that one of them is carrying some kind of short blade. It seems this isn't just a mushroom-picking expedition. And now we have confirmation of the mission's objective. Attention viewers. Yes, it's the local celebrity, a giant snake, known for its difficult personality and love of long swims. Our recon team reports that contact has been established. Negotiations appear to be tense. The tactical support unit, armed with bows, is already in position. Their training is incredible. Look at these acrobatics. They're climbing trees, running on branches. These guys definitely didn't skip leg day. One of them has taken up a sniper position on a branch. Excellent vantage point. But what's this? It appears this isn't just a strong-arm operation. We're witnessing a diplomatic exchange. Yes, they're passing a small bowl between them. Perhaps it's a gesture of goodwill. Or maybe it's just someone's turn to do the dishes. One of them, acting as the envoy, is proceeding alone with the bowl. His path leads to the river. He's clearly nervous. Look at that smile. He kneels down, and yes, he's just collecting water. Perhaps this is some kind of hospitality ritual. And the guest has arrived. The snake has emerged from the water to personally greet the envoy. A very tense moment. A real staring contest. Who will blink first? Meanwhile, the lookout in the tree is sounding the alarm. That's the signal for, we've got a situation here. And backup is on the way. They're running like they just missed out on the last piece of roasted mammoth. And just in time. Negotiations have failed. I repeat, negotiations have failed. We have a hostile takeover. The snake has decided diplomacy is boring and has moved on to hugging. The chief gives the order, and what we can only describe as active conflict resolution begins. It's absolute chaos. The whole team is in the water, trying to explain to the snake that this is not how you treat guests. It's a real river brawl. And there it is, the deciding argument, delivered in the form of a spear. The threat has been neutralized. Now for the interesting part, logistics. How do you get this back to the village? Judging by their faces, nobody thought this far ahead. They're hoisting the carcass onto their shoulders. That looks heavy. The heroes return. They're met with applause and looks of disbelief. Now the butchering begins. We'd like to warn our vegetarian viewers, the following scenes may be disturbing. The meat is separated from the skin, and the work is in full swing. After the carving, it's time for distribution, a piece for everyone, and they proudly carry their prize home. Snake steak is on the menu tonight. But that's not all. Another team has begun an infrastructure project. They're building, yes, that looks like an industrial-sized barbecue grill made of bamboo. These guys know what they're doing. The head chef, this woman here, is already at the fire. She's fanning the flames and placing the steaks on the rack. Looks delicious. And now the party begins. The women perform a victory dance, while the men have already taken their seats at the table, or rather, the fire. The taste testing has commenced. Judging by the happy faces, the dish is a success. Well, it's been a tense day that ended with a fantastic dinner. This was Kyle for the Primeval News Network. Stay with us and enjoy your meal. And bridge is the least of their problems right now. Something just went boom. And crawling out of the bushes is, yep, a giant snake. A really angry one if the glowing eyes are any indication. Now, back to the hairy thing they were carrying. It looks like they cheaped out on the chains because they're starting to snap. The soldiers are doing what soldiers do best, shooting at everything that moves. But the snake doesn't seem to care at all. It's decided that a military jeep is its new favorite chew toy. Okay, and this is where it gets super weird. There's a guy in one of the trucks who seems really stressed out. He's, turning green. I'm not kidding. And he's getting bigger, a lot bigger. And he just exploded right through the roof of the truck. I'm pretty sure that's not standard Army procedure. So, just to recap for everyone at home, we have one angry hairy giant, one angry giant snake, and one new angry green muscle guy. They're all in the same place. What could possibly go wrong? The fight is on. The big green dude throws the first punch right in the snake's face. But the snake answers with a hug. A really, really tight hug. Greenie does not look happy about this new friendship. And while all the soldiers are just standing there, probably wondering where their lives went wrong, help arrives from, are you serious? It's monkeys! A team of tiny monkeys with sticks and rocks are trying to break the chains on the hairy giant. And it worked. He's free! And just in time because Greenie was about to lose that hugging contest. His new hairy buddy runs in to help. He grabs a log. A giant log, and he gives the snake a big ol' bonk right on the head. Bam! Problem solved. The hairy guy is still super angry, though. He celebrates his big win by ripping the snake into pieces. You know, just to make sure it's really defeated. All right, so what about the green guy? After all that fighting and getting squeezed by a giant snake, he looks completely exhausted. I mean, who wouldn't be? He's lying on the ground, and it looks like his battery is completely dead. He's deflating? Yeah, he's shrinking, like a big, green, angry balloon that's run out of air. And in just a few seconds, he's back to being a normal person. A normal, very bruised person with completely torn pants. Seriously, that's a wardrobe malfunction of epic proportions. It's a very awkward moment for him. The hairy guy walks over, probably to exchange insurance information or something, but instead he just leans down and lets out this massive roar right in his face. Maybe that's how they say good game in giant monster language. Or maybe it's, you still owe me for breaking my chains. Who knows? After that one final roar, he just turns around and walks away. No handshake, no high five, just a roar. Very confusing team dynamic. And where's he going? Is he off for a nice quiet walk to cool down? Nope. He's decided to give the military a performance review on all their leftover equipment. And it is not a good review. He's kicking tanks like they're empty soda cans and smashing trucks just for fun. He is clearly leaving a 1-star Yelp review for this entire experience. The soldiers are doing a great job of running away. A tactical retreat, I'm sure. Meanwhile, somewhere back at headquarters, a general is watching all of this on a big screen and probably calculating how much all of this is going to cost. You can just see the vein popping in his forehead. That's the look of a man who knows he's not getting his Christmas bonus this year. After throwing a multi-million-dollar tantrum, our hairy hero decides it's time for a break, and his loyal support staff, the monkeys, are right there to help. They're climbing all over him, and look at that! One of them is giving him a drink from a folded leaf. That's better service than I get at most coffee shops. It's actually kind of sweet in a weird, chaotic sort of way. Meanwhile, the guy who used to be green is doing the walk of shame. He limps through all the wreckage and just walks up to the soldiers with his hands up. He has had enough for one day. They immediately take him away, probably to see a doctor, and then face a lot of angry questions. I bet that medical report is going to be a fascinating read. Patient complains of turning green and smashing a truck with his body. Back at headquarters, they are definitely not letting this go. They are now tracking the hairy giant with satellites. The general is looking at the screen with pure rage in his eyes. He is not happy. And it looks like he's getting ready for round 2. We're seeing helicopters being prepped, drones being armed, and even bigger tanks rolling out. This time, they're bringing bigger toys. And just when you thought it couldn't get any crazier, we get this final, shocking image sent to us, our hairy hero standing on a building in a city. This has been Kyle for the Mayhem Report. Take care of yourselves. And maybe, just to be safe, stay out of the jungle and the city for a while. Good luck out there. Hello, giant monster fans and lovers of terrible ideas. You're watching Total Chaos, the only show that looks at a disaster and says, could have been worse. I'm your tour guide to the apocalypse, Kyle. And on the menu tonight, a brilliant plan from our military masterminds that I swear they came up with at an office party. Okay, so the setup is this. There's a weird whirlpool in the ocean. You know, as you do. But it turns out living inside this whirlpool is a giant lizard with atomic breath. Let's call him Godzi. He's a local, and judging by the number of bones at the bottom of the ocean, he really hates it when people mess up his yard. And what's the genius plan from our top strategists? We have a giant lizard problem. You know what we're missing? That's right, a giant monkey. And they actually did it. They brought a massive ape on an aircraft carrier. They chained him up like a bicycle outside a convenience store, probably so nobody would steal him. I guarantee you, this guy with the binoculars was like, yep, this is gonna work. I feel it. But Godzi, our lizard introvert, was not a fan of his noisy new neighbors. He's like, excuse me, I'm trying to nap here, and starts charging up his laser beam. The ocean immediately turns into a bloody party for the sharks. On the ship, everyone is panicking, soldiers are running around, an officer is yelling into a radio, abort the brilliant plan. I repeat, switch to the we're all gonna die plan. And the ape, let's call him Kong, is roaring back, probably complaining about the terrible in-flight service. And now for the fireworks. The battleships open fire. Pew pew, ba-boom. Godzi takes all these shells to the face and is basically like, that tickles. Missiles? Ooh, a massage, thank you. And in return, he just spits a giant blue laser beam. And you know where he spits that giant blue laser beam? Not at the sky, not at a cloud. He spits it right into one of the battleships. And kaboom! The entire thing just turns into the world's most expensive fireworks display. That's $1 billion of your money, by the way, just gone. Poof! The soldiers on the deck of the other ships are probably looking at each other thinking, so, are we still getting paid for this? Does hazard pay cover giant laser lizards? But here comes the best part, the absolute peak of this whole terrible plan. Godzi, who clearly needs glasses, is trying to aim his laser at Kong. His aim is terrible. He's wobbling all over the place, and he hits the chains, the very chains holding Kong down. Do you understand the sheer, magnificent stupidity of this moment? He freed his own enemy. That's like trying to get a spider out of your house by burning the entire house down. It is 5-star galaxy brain genius right there. The soldiers on the deck just freeze. Their jaws are on the floor. You can practically read the thoughts on their faces. I knew it. I knew this was a dumb idea from the moment they said giant monkey. I should have stayed home today. And so Kong is free. He stands up, shakes off the broken metal like it's party confetti, cracks his giant knuckles, and just looks at Godzi. Godzi stops shooting and looks back at him. And the entire Navy, what's left of it, just stops firing and watches. It is the most awkward, tense first date in the history of the planet. And it's on. Ding, ding, ding. Round 1. Kong, with the fury of 1,000 angry dads, winds up and lands a massive right hook right on Godzi's snout. Wham! A beautiful shot. You could hear that one from space. But Godzi is a total cheater. He doesn't even flinch. He just answers with his favorite move again, the laser beam. Whoosh! Classic spammer move. And then he just shoves Kong right off the aircraft carrier. A totally dirty move. Right into the water. It's exactly like a playground fight, but the playground is the ocean, and the kids weigh 100,000 tons. What happens next is just a crazy, blurry underwater mess. They're wrestling, they're biting, they're scratching. It's just a big ball of claws and teeth and angry bubbles. Godzi's probably trying to give him a noogie. Kong's trying to pull his tail. And of course, Godzi keeps spamming his laser beam underwater, because that's the only trick he's got. Froosh, whoosh. And it honestly looks like Kong is losing. He's getting tired. He's sinking down to the bottom. But then, at the bottom of the ocean, in the dark, he sees it. A rock. Just a plain, boring, ordinary rock. And you can practically see the light bulb go off in his giant monkey head. It's the most brilliant, simple idea in the world. He grabs the rock, and with all his remaining strength, he just swims up and smashes Godzi over the head with it. Boom! Game over, man! Game over. The lizard cheater, with all his lasers and atomic breath, gets taken out by a rock. The original weapon. The sharks immediately swim in for the victory banquet. They're the real winners here, let's be honest. And Kong, all beaten up and bruised, climbs back onto the wreckage of the aircraft carrier. He did it. He's the champ. He stands there looking at the burning ships and the absolute mess he made, probably thinking, okay, now what? And for the grand finale of this absolute circus, we get this final glorious shot, Kong, our hero, standing on top of a skyscraper, with the text above him, "The Small World." Yep, what a great plan. They got rid of one problem by unleashing another who is now free, very angry, and apparently looking for real estate right in the middle of the city. A round of applause for humanity. You've done it again. This was Kyle for Total Chaos. And remember, if you ever have a brilliant idea, maybe run it by someone who's not a complete idiot first, just to make sure it won't end with 2 giant monsters redecorating your city. See ya!
I'm for you to the